Do you wanna ride in the backseat of my patrol car? We can chop it up in a blue and white. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the Den. I am your host, Ed Honcho. Man, we finna get into some po-po pimping. This is a very interesting story. Everything that you need to know will be, scrolling through the video. So if you want to check out some of the other Den-related stuff, activities, social medias, it'll be right over there. Let's get into the story, man. A lot to unwrap on this one, but I hadn't heard about this. But a retired New York NYPD police detective was a part-time pimp. So let's get into the story. I'm not gonna waste too much time. But man, it's the ones you never expect, right? Y'all know me. I'm a firm believer in do what you do, but you must pay your dues if you get caught. Hey, if you're able to get away with it, do your thug thing. But like I said, I'm kind of off of my commentary. We're gonna read through a couple of articles related to the story, but he is facing 4 to 12 years for running a brothel, or actually several brothels in the New York area, along with his wife and kids. And this is a family affair. Hey, keep it in the family, right? Let's get into it, man. Let's see what's going on with this gentleman here. I find so much of this story to be interesting. Let's just talk about it. Anyway, this is a New York Post article, and the links to the description will be down in the description below. So if you want to read it for yourself, I'm not going to read it word for word. I'm just going to kind of run down a couple of things that it speaks on. Retired NYPD detective gets 4 to 12 years for running a brothel. Retired NYPD detective who headed a multi-million-dollar prostitution and gambling ring with a cohort of other cops was sentenced Tuesday 4 to 12 years in prison. Ludwig Paz. Ludwig Paz. That's a pimp-ass name if I ever heard. Ludi P. That's what we're gonna call him. That boy Ludi P, man. Nah, but if I've ever heard a pimp-ass name, that's it, right? The punishment becomes a part of a plea deal with prosecutors in which he copped to 2 counts of attempted enterprise corruption and 1 count of promoting prostitution in the 3rd degree. He also agreed to forfeit $20,840 in profits. I want to apologize to the court, the DA's office, and NYPD for my wrongful action. I deeply regret them. Appeared in Queens Supreme Court wearing an orange jumpsuit, told the judge, I want to apologize and say sorry and ask forgiveness to my family and my actions and the pain and suffering that I've caused them, even though they was in, with the shits. Defense lawyer Frank Kelly said outside the court that Paz's plea deal was hammered out to save his family and to shave off time his wife and co-defendant, Arelis Peralta. I guess she kept her own name. So, but we'll get into that in a minute, though. Received. He originally faced up to 25 years in prison for enterprise corruption, the top charge. That's tough. He took responsibility. He got more time than originally had worked out in order to save his wife and his 2 daughters. That family affair. Did it for his family. Did the right thing by his family. Paz 52 was assigned to NYPD Vice Squad, ran brothels in Brooklyn, Queens, and Nassau County. With the help of 7 active duty police officers, his 2 daughters, Jarelis Guzman and Arisbel Guzman. Why don't any of these people have the same name? So I'm questioning some things, and I'll get into this. So I would definitely like to know if he married this woman with these kids, and maybe they have a different father. And because it's just something about this chick that I kind of noticed. She kind of has like a mob wives look to her. One of them, those fucking, Real Housewives type look to her. So she looked like she was all the way with the shit. I wonder how much of it that she motivated him to get into it. It's very interesting. Prosecutor said Paz paid Brooklyn South Vice Detective Renee Samaniego, I'm fucking that up, I know it, as much as $500 a week to serve as his primary informant. In order not to avoid getting caught, he mastermind set up protocols for brothel customers to weed out undercovers, knowing full well that cops are barred from exposing themselves in front of prostitutes. Under new rules, clients were required to undress and allow themselves to be fondled before getting past security. $40 for 15 minutes, $160 for a full hour. Raked in more than $2 million between August 2016 and September. So in a year. That's a nice solid chunk of change. Hey, she looks like a lady that has a nice lifestyle that she wants to maintain. So it'd be very interesting. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Look at the dude. He looks kind of like a square, and she looks like she with the shits. Look like she is about that action. The disgraced detective's wife pleaded guilty on 2 counts of enterprise corruption, sentenced to 364 days in jail, which she's already served. She was in court with the couple's 12-year-old son and sobbed in the proceeding. I'm devastated. He's been locked up since his arrest September 2018. So if he only gets to 4 years, and again, I don't know how much they're gonna, give him for time served. He's only been there, what was this, June, July? So he's been there a little less than a year, a few months less, maybe about 10 months or 9, 10 months. Ran illegal lotteries at delis and beauty salons. This guy was a mob cop. Guzman's sister previously pleaded guilty first-degree attempted promoting prostitution in exchange for conditional discharge while Samaniego is waiting sentencing. Charges were the result of a 3-year investigation that stemmed from 2015 tip, including those active and retired were operating brothels. So he only gave up $20,000. Wonder where the rest of the money is, right? I know he had to pay off some cops and do some other things. So I'm not sitting here saying that he's got all the money, but definitely a very interesting situation. NYPD detective Ludwig Paz ran brothel ring, used cops as muscle. I'm just kind of going to skip through it again, like I said. A lot of the same stuff being said, but a few more details in this article. It's a Daily Beast article. Said he was now, and this is what I say. Y'all notice something, like when I talk about a lot of these stories, that they never get the ages right. That from a variety of stories that I talk about, when you use multiple different sources, you see certain people are a year off or 2 years off, or the number of kids. Just so, and this is media. These are the big media companies that have plenty of people working for them. You think that they would get some of this information right? So the Post said 52, Daily Beast says 51. Uses vice know-how to and badge wearing buddies to avoid law enforcement crackdown. Again, talking about the same process. Allow them to be fondled to prove that they're not angry. Police Commissioner James O'Neill said Thursday, noting that the scandal was not a department-wide problem, but the work of a small group that tarnished the good work of tens of thousands of others in the department. Am I angry? Of course I'm angry, he said. Allegedly relied on his contact with the NYPD and enlisted the help of at least 7 officers with daily duties that range from providing protection to leaking confidential police information about possible raids. One of them did it for just a discount on sex with a prostitute. Yeah, that's the lamest dude in the game. You gotta pay me. Like, I'm risking some jail time. Like, for some pussy, like, come on, man. You gotta at least get paid out of it. I mean, discount? He must have been a rookie. He must have been a fucking rookie. Get paid, goddamn, free or something. I don't, man, come on, man. I'm giving you these tips and I still gotta pay for the pussy? What kind of shit is this? Anyway, we've done a lot to build up trust all over the city by taking this step, being transparent. We're acknowledging that there are people out there that wear shields and do break laws. There are consequences. There are severe consequences for everyone involved in this case. Say latest arrest, most significant scandal since cops, some of them in top jobs, were hit with federal corruption charges last year for trading handgun licenses for cash, prostitutes. Why are these cops fucking with these damn prostitutes? God damn it. Come on, man. I know y'all can get y'all some straight, nice ladies. The brothel investigation, dubbed Operation Zap, began 2015. So if he's been doing this probably before 2015, that's when they started paying attention in 2015. And then he made, what, 2 million maybe or so last year. Now, I don't know, from the pictures that you see when you look at this story, it doesn't seem like he was just doing a whole bunch of lavishness. I'm sure that his wife had some nice purse. I'm sure the daughters had some nice things. So I'm sure he wasn't pocketing all the money. But it didn't seem like he lived too much out of his element. He could have been putting it away, stashing it away. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Paz became a cop in 1990, joined the Vice Unit 11 years later in 2001. Retired as a cop, a detective in good standing in 2010, collecting a full pension. Said investigation involved hundreds of hours of police work, undercover investigators, physical surveillance, court-ordered electronic surveillance, same wiretaps in organized crime cases, determined the structure and scope of Paz's operation, authorities said. Says only because we were up on so many phones when we get the full scope of corruption. It makes me think of The Wire. Said he controlled brothels in Queens, Brooklyn, and Long Island, worked with his wife, Aurelis Peralta. He was also set up a number of gambling rooms and businesses, including beauty salons in Queens and Brooklyn, they said. Brooklyn! The local craftsman who worked near one of the brothels said he reported suspicious activity to a women's organization about 5 years ago. So that's at least 2013, right? So he's been doing this for a while. He's seen some big money off of this, and I'm sure he put it away, so I'm sure he has a pension on top of a pension with all of this that he's been, this work that he's been putting in. There's a constant stream of guys that would come by on their cells. Said the man who didn't want his name used due to safety concerns. They go in and come out 20 minutes later. They must have been paying for the $40 for 15 minutes. 20 minutes later, that's all they need, a little 15 minutes. You gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. Stop. But it said prostitution ring collected more than $2 million between August 2016 and September 2016. Now, the other article said in 2018, right? 2017 to 2018. And now this one says 2016. So this is what I'm saying, like, you got to be cautious. You got to take a lot of this with a grain of salt. and again, they're saying the same thing, but the little bit of the detailed information is being changed just a little bit. Says, culminated Wednesday when Paz, 7 officers, roughly 36 people outside the NYPD were charged. 2 other officers faced departmental charges, have been stripped of their badges and guns, placed on desk duty, and police believe there may be several others who face internal charges. Said Paz became friends with other defendants while he was a cop and personally knew each one of the others that had been charged. Or a discipline official said, if a book was ever written about this case, I would probably name it Loyalty or Disloyalty versus Friendship. Okay. But that's what it came down to. Friendship with a retired member of the service, maintaining a friendship with active members of the service. Sergeant Cliff Nieves and his brother Sergeant Stephen Nieves, 32 and 37, they're probably 33 and 38, who knows these numbers, were charged for promoting prostitution after they allegedly operated a brothel for a one-night bachelor party. Police officer Giancarlo Raspanti is being charged with giving Paz confidential police information in exchange for discounted sex at a brothel. How old is he? I don't know how old he is. While police officer Luis Failla is accused of helping Paz after a brothel was raided. A lot of these names don't sound, they sound like they come from a, what's the word? I won't say a race, but they have something similar. They don't seem, they're like good old all-American names. Resnick said the officer provided information on active and ongoing investigation, misused department computers by conducting unauthorized inquiries on people and locations, provided information including the photo of an informant. He said other current and retired officers are under scrutiny, but unless new information is uncovered, he expects they will only face internal discipline. So, again, interesting. A former detective, a former police officer becomes a pimp, you know, po pimp. And if y'all don't know, yes, I was making fun of the Po Pimp song in the very beginning. Don't judge me. I like being corny. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I want to know your thoughts about this. Do you think this is something that's happening in other places? Do you think this is just like a New York thing? Because you hear a lot about a lot of corruption in New York from time to time. And do you think that this is still going on? How much money do you think he made? That's curious. Was it worth it? Do you think it was worth it if he, say he only serves, you know, another 3 years? Was it worth it if he operated for more than 5 or 6 years and he's put away some nice change, you know? Was it the right thing to do to keep his old lady out of it? I have a lot of questions about this case, and I'm sure that it is what it is, and you know that's probably as far as it's going to go. But I want to know what you think about this. You know, is it worth 12 years for running a gambling and prostitution ring? And do you think that other cops are out here doing this? You know, we hear about other stories and time to time, and I don't think all cops are bad, but you do have those who are using the information and the knowledge that they have to take advantage of certain situations, the connections to take advantage of certain situations. Do you think this is happening more often than we think? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. But again, I'm Ed Honcho. Make sure you tune in live every night, 7 days a week, 10 p.m. Central, and Monday through Friday, weekdays at 1 p.m. Central for the Daily Dens. And, you know, you can call into the den line. You can share your thoughts on whatever the topic may be or some of the previous topics or just whatever's on your mind. It may be a story or something you'd like to share. You can always call or text the den line even when we're not active if you have something to share, a topic that you would like me to cover. But with that being said, chunk up the dudes, man. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I'm your boy Ed Honcho. Hey, man, you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I'm out.